we have one of the top NBA insiders revealing an absolutely massive report saying that there is a player that is absolutely up on the trade block, and it is the Cavaliers starting point guard, as the Cavaliers will remain open-minded and will be completely willing to trade this guy as they continue into the offseason after falling short in the NBA playoffs. Yet again, I'm at Play NG here with Cavs Digest. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I'm so excited to share this news that we got from ESPN's Brian Windhorst, one of the top NBA reporters, one of the most reliable sources in the NBA, who is apparently saying that there is hope, or not hope, well, for some people hope, but there is a chance that the Cavaliers lose their starting point guard in this offseason, as the Cavs will be listening to deals and apparently will remain open-minded surrounding this specific player. So let's talk about that. Of course, go ahead to the subscribe button, because it is so hard to keep up with the offseason. It's almost impossible to hear about this news unless you're refreshing on your phone or searching up specific things. And here at Cavs Digest, you're never going to miss a single bit of news for the Cavs. So that's it. Me and Billy are going to continue to push out as much info as we can about the Cavs, and we appreciate all you guys. So let's talk about this big news that we got about who Brian Windhorst said, and also Chris Fedor, who we have talked about a lot, who covers the Cavs. He also said something that is really interesting. So we're going to start off with Mr. Brian Windhorst, of course. What did he say about the Cavs, and kind of what his honest thoughts are on none other than this man right here, Darius Garland, was his main focus point in this time around. So let's see what he had to say about Mr. Darius Garland right here. I think there's some belief that Darius Garland might be available under the right circumstances, said Windhorst. I think the Cavs are listening and open-minded. So they're open-minded about trading Darius Garland this offseason. So my biggest issue, there's so many mixed reports with, is Darius Garland going to stay? Is he going to leave? Is Jarrett Allen going to stay? Is Jarrett Allen going to leave? Evan Mobley for Giannis. Donovan Mitchell could go for the number 1 overall pick. Everyone's just creating trades at the trade machine. But now when Brian Windhorst comes out and says that they're open-minded about trading Darius Garland, it really strikes me, because this, of course, when I hear Brian Windhorst say something, I got to jump the gun and assume that it could be 100% true. If the Cavs remain open-minded about Darius Garland, because a lot of, based on what Koby Altman says, it seems like this core 4 is just going to continue to build, and this is how they're going to play basketball. They're going to play basketball through their core 4, but now with new reports, it just seems less likely and less likely that this core 4 remains. Again, it's good to me to know that the fans really, really want to trade people after winning 64 games. Like, the 64 games doesn't matter. It only matters is the playoffs, and that's what people want to do. Speaking of playoffs, we'll look at, this is going to be hard to see, so screenshot it. I recommend you guys screenshot, but I'm just going to point out a couple things. This is Darius Garland's playoff game log. From the top, it is the series against the New York Knicks 2 years ago, and then it's the Orlando and Boston series last year, and then the the Miami Pacers series this year, the 5 games that he played in, because of course he dealt with an injury. And you're going to notice a couple things as you look through this. As I said, please screenshot it or pause it and zoom in if you have to. I know it's tough to see from here, but it's his lack of consistency shooting, because he's supposed to be a 20-point scorer, and it seems like he's unwilling to try to score 20 points. I mean, 47-40 in this year was phenomenal from 7 assists. I mean, Darius Garland was lights out this year. Genuinely one of the clutchest players in the league. Could and should win the Clutch Player of the Year award. Just under 21 points, and it was his fourth quarter performances that were absolutely lights out, and I love what Darius Garland was able to do in the regular season. Again, I point out the playoffs specifically because you're going to notice a couple things. Just his inconsistency overall, but it's mainly his lack of effort, his undersizedness, his undersized to play defense, and the fact that he wasn't able to take over in almost any game ever, which is sad, because that's what we want from Darius Garland. We want him to be able to go for 30 points. I mean, he had a 31-point game against the Knicks in a win, and of course, that was the only game they won. I mean, the whole team was bad, and the whole team's been bad for a lot of these series, but as of right now, you see that Darius Garland has some flaw in his playoffs, and you're going to notice it in the stats alone. Just consistency. I mean, there was a game where he shot 90% that I'm looking at right now. There was a game where he took 27 shots. It's just the consistency from either not shooting enough or shooting too much, and he just can't figure it out. And that's our biggest issue with Darius Garland in the playoffs. But there's still more to cover, so let's get back to it. Screenshot this if you have to. Let's continue looking at what was said about Darius Garland and, of course, Jalen Suggs, who we talked about in a video. You'll see a jersey swap of those two on the thumbnail. Go look at that video about how there's a lot of rumors surrounding these two guys potentially getting swapped. Windhorst has said that he does not like that trade. One guy's an all-star, one guy isn't. So he's completely shutting down that trade. So the Jalen Suggs stuff could not be happening, but unless there's a draft pick involved where the Magic give us more, because he believes that the Cavs should ask for more when you're getting a non-all-star for an all-star. So, of course, let's see what Altman can work in. Chris Fedor had something big to say, and this is the next thing I want to show you guys, so go listen to this video real quick.
If it was you that could take this offseason to all those tough questions and to make a move is it to be made?
I keep coming back to the same thing. Guys, I keep coming back. Darius has to go. Because, look, like, if you're going to reimagine the offense, if you're going to refigure the roster, and if you're going to reset your salary cap situation, this is a top-heavy team. This is a top-heavy roster. This is a team is going to get really, really expensive as we continue to move forward. But if you're trying to accomplish all three of those things in one off season, there is a move that allows you to do that. And it's trading Darius. And it's with this Cavs.
So in that video, you kind of get to see Earl, and they were actually on the phone with Chris Fedor, who I mentioned, and he says that if you are the Cavs, the dream offseason is getting rid of Darius Garland. Things are starting to get intense, guys, about Darius Garland. That's why I had to make this video and share this with you all right now. What it seemed like with the insiders is that the Cavs' ultimate dream offseason is not allowing this core four to play together. Because I talked about in my last video, it seems like on 92.3 The Fan, it was just Nick Wilson who said that you either want this core four or you either want to win a championship. Now Chris Fedor is saying that your dream offseason is getting rid of Darius Garland. And now Brian Windhorst is saying that the Cavs are going to be listening to offers for Darius Garland. And that's what strikes me is Darius Garland, this all-star point guard, clutchest player in the league arguably this year, is now turning into the main focus on how can you improve the team and how can you stop being playoff chokers? Because at the end of the day, those 64 wins mean nothing if you can't perform in the playoffs. So what can Koby Altman do in order to create something for Darius Garland? Well, of course, we talk about Jalen Suggs. If you are that willing to give up Darius Garland to where you will trade a straight-up deal for Jalen Suggs, that is going to be a big chance you take because this is an injury-prone player who probably would be an all-star if he wasn't injured. His scoring is less. His peak scoring is way worse than Darius Garland's, but he's a way better defender and he's super athletic. So do you want to lose a guy that can go for 30 for a guy that can just play more physical basketball, and then you can let Donovan Mitchell be the takeover player on offense, or be more of a takeover player offense than he is when Darius Garland's also playing? That's a risk that you can take if you want Jalen Suggs there. Or you can also try to pivot and look at center options and let Darius play the one. Or one big thing that I would love is if the Cavs were that interested in getting better and they want to trade Darius Garland for a high overall pick. I don't know personally. I am not a GM, guys. Thank everybody that I'm not a GM because I would struggle to know what to do in this scenario. We have, of course, Brian Windhorst mentioning things like this, just telling everyone that there is a real chance that the Cavs are listening and really thinking about getting rid of Darius Garland. Then you have Chris Fedor saying that they should get rid of Darius Garland. And this is just coming as a bombshell to me personally, as what it originally seemed going into this offseason is that they need to do things, but they're not going to. And then we get new reports that Koby Altman doesn't want to get rid of anyone. And then we just kind of continue around this back and forth path of trade proposals and trade machines and mock trades and everything like that. And now we get this report, and it's like, the Cavs could really be doing anything in this offseason. Of course, the offseason has not yet to come because the NBA Finals is still going on. Good luck to the Pacers and Thunder as they remain tied at one apiece. But of course, this is Cavs Digest. We cover all things Cavs, and you should hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment below your thoughts. I'm Matt Plangy. Go have a good one.